There we go.
Welcome to part three. If you did not watch part two, why are you here?
Right.
Why? Why? No, I'm just kidding.
Why? Why?
We are currently ranking every WrestleMania. We are on number 34 right now
Yeah.
in our list. So, Robbie, what is your number 34 from
My
this
number
worst
30.
to best? Go.
Yeah. My number 34 is WrestleMania 27.
Okay. My number 34 is WrestleMania 1.
Okay.
So do you want to explain 27 or y'all heard
Yeah.
my explanation of 27 in part two?
Mostly your reasons, but I guess I'll give a few of my own.
Yep.
Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler was a horrible match that ended with Michael Cole actually winning, which was stupid. Michael Cole's undefeated at WrestleMania, lest we forget. Edge versus Alberto Del Rio opened the show. It was kind of lame,
Yeah,
just a little bit.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, and I think Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio was okay. CM Punk versus Randy Orton was okay.
Yep.
Pretty much Triple H versus Undertaker carried the show. I think that was the only good match from what I remember.
Yeah.
And then of course John Cena versus The Miz, which was basically just an advertisement for John Cena versus The Rock the following year.
Exactly. No, that's
Like
exactly.
that's all it did was just set up Cena versus Rock for Mania 28.
And what
It
sucks is this, I forgot to say this in mine. If you would indulge me for a second. What sucks is that Cena versus Miz had a really great promo package and
yeah,
it was wasted on that match.
right. Like the Miz was an afterthought in his own main event.
And he was
Even
the
though
champion.
he was the champion and he won, but he was an afterthought.
All right, WrestleMania 1. Yeah, this was not a good start for Mania.
No.
Um the first match involved the Executioner, which was just Buddy Rose in a mask. Um
Yeah.
I will say it did have a good Steamboat match. Steamboat versus Matt Bourne was pretty good. Matt
Mm,
Bourne, of course, is Doink.
yeah.
The main event was very weird, being the tag team match Hogan and Mr. T versus
Uh, Paul Orndorff and
Paul Orndorff and
Roddy Piper.
yeah, Roddy Piper with Bob Orton Jr. ultimately coming into play at the end.
Yeah. It
um, you also had King Kong Bundy squashing someone in 9 seconds.
was a very long 9 seconds.
Very long 9 seconds. But no, it was there. It was there. It wasn't good. Mania didn't really get a good Mania until the third one, which I will get to that when I get to that.
Yeah.
It's going to be way further down the line.
Mhm.
Next up, number 33, Robbie.
All right. Number 33 is actually WrestleMania 36.
Oh,
Like,
I have that a little bit lower,
mhm,
like right outside my bottom 10, but
yeah.
not as high as some people would think.
Yeah.
My number 33 is WrestleMania 7,
Okay.
specifically because I couldn't remember anything from it. Except for the Warrior match, which is what propelled it to number 33.
Yeah.
I basically gave my reasoning. What's yours?
All right. So WrestleMania 36. The COVID mania, the mania that had no fans. At the time, we thought it was great because what they managed to do, despite the circumstances, wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But now looking back 4 years later, it was kind of bad. It
Yeah.
a lot a few of the matches, like looking back now, would not have been on a regular Mania. They would have been lucky to get on Raw, not but on Mania. And most of the matches just they weren't they were okay, but I guess with the lack of a crowd, it weighed it down heavily. Which I mean, it wasn't the performer's fault.
Yeah.
They did what they could, but without the crowd, it wasn't the same.
Yeah, you can't really
But
fault the performers for that one, but
yeah,
no, that's one of like that's one of the manias where, like you said, when it first happened, like everyone thought it was a really good mania
Mhm.
because of the circumstances, because we
Yeah,
were surprised it happened at all.
right.
But looking back at it, it wasn't. It was a bad mania. Like it
Yeah,
had the Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse match, which were awesome.
right.
But other than those two matches, what else did it have?
Yeah, I mean Drew winning the title for the first time, the WWE title, beat Brock Lesnar. It's a shame that he couldn't do it in front of people,
Yeah. But even
but
though we talk about that match too, that wasn't that good of a match. I'm sorry. It was a
it wasn't.
finisher spam match. That's all it was.
It went in less than 5 minutes. It was just a bunch of finishers. And then you had freaking Braun Strowman versus Goldberg, which I think was a match made the day of Mania
Yep.
because Roman pulled out last minute. So Braun beat Goldberg in like 2 minutes for the Universal title, which was stupid. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't stupid. It was good that Goldberg lost the title, but it wasn't a good match.
Um, I have the same reasons as you for WrestleMania 7.
Yeah.
Number 32.
My number 32 is, funnily enough, WrestleMania 32.
My number 32 is WrestleMania 8.
Okay.
The air, I'll let you go first on this one.
All right. So basically, same reasons as you. It was very boring. There was like a couple good matches, but apart from that, everything else was just not good. I mean, the Hell in a Cell match was bad. The main event, nobody wanted, nobody cared about. The ladder match was okay, and uh, The Rock beating Eric Rowan in 6 seconds was The Rock beating Eric Rowan in 6 seconds. I don't know what else to say about that.
I don't even count that as a match, honestly.
Yeah,
um, One thing I forgot to say during my talk about Mania 32 is just how long it was.
yeah,
Like it's bad enough that the Mania was boring. I talked about Mania 2, which is my second worst. It was boring, but at least it was short.
right.
Mania 32 went 4 or 5 hours. I can't remember.
Like 5 hours if
Five
you count the
hours
pre-show.
of just bore.
Yeah,
No. WrestleMania 8, the only reason I have this over WrestleMania 7 is because of Flair 7.
right.
It's the only reason. What are you looking at?
No, I just okay. Never mind. I put Armenia twice.
Oh,
There we go. Fixed it. Okay.
yeah, that's why I had like a word bank of my
Yeah, yeah. I
um,
put them twice, but we're good.
no, Mania 8, the only reason I put that over Mania 7 was because of Flair Savage.
Yeah,
The only reason. Because that specific match was so good.
yeah. It carried the show again,
And
basically.
also for the comedy factor of Papa Shango missing his missing his cue. That's one of those so bad it's good moments with Papa
Yeah,
Shango missing his cue. But this was
right.
another Hogan wins lol mania.
Yeah. Stupid. Freaking
Um,
Brett versus Flair should have main evented.
yeah.
Or not Brett, Macho Man Flair.
31.
Number 31 is WrestleMania 15.
Okay. My number 31, I feel like I may have treated this one too harshly when I wrote the list, but I'm not going to change it now. Number 31 is Mania 29,
Okay.
the twice
Mine
in
is
time Mania.
mine is much higher than that, but
Yeah, I did not like this one. I didn't.
okay.
Um, Talk about 15 first. You go first.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. The only things I can remember from this Mania was the main event,
Mhm.
with Austin beating Rock for the title, which I guess was all right, and then Undertaker versus Big Boss for Hell in a Cell, which was awful.
Yeah.
But I legitimately can't remember anything. Oh, X Pac versus Shane McMahon, I think, for the light heavyweight title
Mhm.
or the European title. Yeah, the European title, which was okay, I guess. but I legitimately can't remember anything else that happened on the show. So I just kind of stuck it at the bottom.
All right. Mania 29, I think I did the same thing that you did. I couldn't remember anything except for the main event, so I stuck it at the bottom.
Yeah,
Um, I did watch this Mania, like post Mania. I think just a couple years ago, I watched this Mania because I read Chris Jericho's book about his match with Fandango, and I wanted to watch it.
yeah,
This was a weird Mania.
right.
Like it's not the weirdest. I'll get to that, and actually, I think the weirdest is a little higher on my list. It's in my top 20. I just looked. Um, but no, this was a weird Mania. We had Mark Henry versus Ryback at Mania.
Right.
Fandango versus Chris Jericho.
Fandango's debut. This man debuted at
He
WrestleMania.
debuted at WrestleMania and beat Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
Like he's the only person who can he's the only person that can say that he did that.
right.
Insane.
Sad.
um and sad. But no, the main talking point of this Mania was twice in a lifetime, which I think that's why I have it so low because it was so much worse than the
Yeah,
once in a lifetime match. It was just a finisher spamming match.
right.
I will say, Taker versus Punk was really good.
Mhm.
Taker versus Punk was good. It's the only thing saving this Mania for me.
Right.
Fandango versus Chris Jericho wasn't as bad as you would think, though.
Yeah, true.
And no, I think I rated that one too harshly. Looking at it now, because I just needed some place to put it, is what it was. Because my
Right.
number 30, I would actually probably put lower than my number 31.
Yeah.
So what's your number 30?
My number 30 is WrestleMania 8.
So my number 30 is WrestleMania 2000.
Okay.
And like I said, and I'm gonna explain mine now because it's one sentence. You explained why you hated it. It was your third worst, I believe.
Yeah, third worst.
So, like I said, the reason why I put this a little higher is because I can't remember it. It's so inoffensive to me that I can't remember anything from it. And that's going to
Yeah.
be a trend with a few of these next ones coming up.
That's going to be a trend with a majority of like the next 20 Manias.
See, with most of these, I can remember at least one match, but my
Yeah.
next few, like right after my number 28, it's to the point where the next few I can't remember anything from them. So I don't, so I just put them in the middle.
Mhm.
But no, Mania 2000, I can't remember it. It's inoffensive to me. The only thing I remember is the main event and the women's singles match.
Yep.
It's the only thing. Um, Robby, you want to explain WrestleMania 8? You have any other reasons?
I did enjoy, well, as you did as well. Macho Man versus Ric Flair. That was a good match. But also a match that I think you forgot about: Bret Hart versus Roddy Piper
Oh
for
yeah.
the IC title. That was a really good match.
And I
And
shouldn't have forgot about it because I played the 40 years man.
right, they had Bret secretly cut himself open, and they managed to get away with it.
And Flair and Savage didn't.
Flair and Savage didn't because Flair doesn't know how to blade off camera apparently. And then of course the main event was bad, but after the main event was good. Papa Shango missing his cue was funny, and then you had the Ultimate Warrior return, which was great, and then everything else was just kind of there.
Yeah.
But I think though those two matches and the ending kind of really
And I wish I
upped it.
remembered that match. I would have put it higher.
Yeah.
29.
My number 29 is actually WrestleMania 5.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have that a lot higher.
Yeah.
It's not my top 10, but I have it a lot higher.
Mhm.
My number 29 is WrestleMania 12.
Okay.
So explain Mania 5 because now I'm curious. I want to know.
So Mania 5, I think you had Ultimate Warrior actually losing to Rick Rude
Mhm.
for the IC title. And then Hulk Hogan being Hulk Hogan and beating Randy Savage in the main event, which I guess was all right.
Mega powers, yes.
Mega powers explode. And then I legitimately can't remember anything else that happened on the show, which was probably why I put it so low.
Okay.
But if I were to watch it back now, and I'd maybe put it higher based on your reaction.
No, that's considered a good Mania. I didn't, again, it's not top 10 for me,
Yeah.
but it's considered a good Mania. But I can see your reasoning because I think the reason I put it high is because of those two matches for me.
Yeah.
Um, even though 2K24 made me hate Warrior versus Rick Rude
That
because
was fun.
I played it 4 times on my live stream.
Yeah, this man struggled. I watched in live in living color this man losing over and over. It's
Live
funny.
stream plug. Go watch me on Twitch. Not
Twitch.tv/Yoya6317.
go watch me on Twitch. YCW popping
Subscribe.
off. YCW popping off.
So
I'm getting some good numbers there, huh?
yeah, pretty solid.
Mania 12. I can legitimately not remember anything from this Mania. I had to look up what was on this Mania.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember is Sean versus Brett,
Mhm.
the Iron Man match.
Yeah.
I cannot remember anything. I think now I can remember Goldust versus Piper
That was,
with the OJ Simpson footage. But
yeah,
also on the topic of Sean versus Brett, the Iron Man match. I find that match extremely overrated.
that's fair.
It
It
is
that match is very decisive.
is very yeah, exactly. It's very decisive, and I'm on the side that doesn't like it.
Mm.
Specifically, I think it's because I have ADHD and I can't sit for that long
Yeah.
with nothing happening because it ends in a 0-0 tie after an
First,
hour.
first ever Iron Man match. And it ends with nobody winning.
And then, yeah, and then it goes into overtime, so it's actually 72 minutes. And no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I love Bret Hart. I love Shawn Michaels. No.
No.
Goldust versus Piper was funny.
Yeah.
I
That
can't.
was funny.
I legitimately can't remember anything else except for I think this is the Mania where Warrior no sold the pedigree.
Yep.
Number 28.
My 28 is WrestleMania 23.
My number 28 is WrestleMania 36.
Okay. Yeah.
You want to explain 23?
Yeah. Apart from Batista versus Undertaker for the world title, which was good, and then Shawn Michaels versus John Cena for the WWE title was also good. Again, can't remember anything else that happened on the show. Oh, and Undertaker versus Mark Henry
I
casket
mean,
match,
Battle of the Billionaires happened.
and that too. But that was yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, no, I'm stupid. Undertaker versus Batista. I said Undertaker versus Mark Henry. That's the year
That,
before.
that
But
Battle of the Billionaires match aged horribly.
it did, yeah. Frickin' Dykes. Both billionaires are in a bit of legal trouble
Yeah.
right now. Just a little bit.
Um, so WrestleMania 36, I think it's the same reason as you. Honestly, I think I already explained my reasoning. It was considered a great Mania when it happened, but I think that was just COVID glasses, honestly.
Yeah,
Because it wasn't that good. It was not.
right.
Besides the Boneyard match, which was fun, and the Firefly Funhouse match, which is an all-time Mania match in my opinion. Even
Mm.
though, can we really call it a match?
It wasn't even a match. It was like a long segment, basically.
It was a good segment. Um,
Yeah.
there was nothing else. Honestly, there wasn't. Um, I mean, what else did we have? Street Profits versus Andrade and Austin Theory.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah,
Unless Angel Garza was one of them.
Angel
But,
Garza was there, but he wasn't in the match.
oh, okay.
We also had Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa and Nikki opening night one.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan,
Which
which
was Okay.
which was a lot worse than it should have been, given it's Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan.
Right. And then you also had freaking Dolph Ziggler and Otis.
This, which was one of the better built matches.
It was.
All right, 27.
My number 27 is WrestleMania 1.
Okay. My number 27 is WrestleMania 13.
Okay.
WrestleMania 1.
So pretty much same reasons you put. It what in terms of matches, it wasn't that good. A lot of the matches were kind of boring. But I think I put it as high as I did, high,
Yeah,
because I mean it was the first ever Mania. That pretty significant. If this Mania didn't do well, then we wouldn't have gotten 39 more Manias.
exactly.
I think WWE would have folded if this Mania didn't do well. So I think just purely because of the significance of the event, that's why I put it higher than you did.
Yeah, I tried to
But that,
not look at it with significance. But
yeah,
it also can't be understated how significant it was.
right.
Mania 13 is one that I could not remember anything from except for Hart Austin,
Yeah,
which is considered one of the best Mania matches for good reason.
that's fantastic.
It was an amazing match. But other than that, what else did we have?
Right.
I mean, I can't even remember who did Sean fight in the main.
Um, did he fight anybody?
Yeah, it was him because Mike Tyson, that was the Mike Tyson one. No, that was 14.
Yeah.
What was 13? Was 13 Sid versus Taker?
Yep, that was the main event.
Oh, I should have put that lower.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
And now looking back, I put Mania 13 way too high. But you live and you learn, I guess.
All right, 26.
My number 26 is actually Mania 3, which might be a bit controversial.
Ooh. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. I got Mania 15.
Okay.
So please explain Mania 3.
All right. So obviously the best match by far on the show was Steamboat versus Savage. Like
Obviously.
by far. But I mean, apart from that, it wasn't that good. I mean, it was okay outside of that match. I mean, Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant was a big match, but it wasn't that good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then you had freaking Hillbilly Jim and midgets versus King Kong Bundy and midgets.
That was funny.
It was funny, but it wasn't good.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I think you had the Fabulous Rougeaus or something versus the Can-Am Connection, which was okay, I
That
guess.
opened the show.
Yeah, right. And then freaking Roddy Piper in his retirement match versus Adrian Adonis, I think. Retirement match.
Match.
And outside of that, I can't remember what else happened on the show, but
I think I will not spoil where I rated it, but I will say I rated Mania 3 highly. But I think it's because I was looking at it through significance on that one.
mhm,
Because I consider that to be the first good Mania.
right.
Um, but no, I was on 15, right? Mania
Yeah.
15. I legitimately put that there as my last option
Okay.
because I did not remember anything from that man.
You put it there because it was the last
It
Mania
was
you
the
had.
last one.
Jeez.
um, but no, hearing your explanation, I probably could have put it lower, but it's also like I can't remember it, so I'll just put it
Right.
in somewhat in the middle, in the lower middle.
Yeah, that's pretty much like everything before my top 10, like between 30 and 10, is mostly randomly placed simply because I can only remember like one or two matches and I just based the placement off of those matches. and nothing else because I couldn't be bothered to look at the Wikipedia of every single Mania.
I will say my top 25 is like actually like ranked. Like
Yeah,
I placed those there for a reason.
right.
um Speaking of top 25, number 25.
All right, number 25 is WrestleMania 12.
Mania 34.
Yeah.
Mania 12.
All right. So 1 hour Iron Man match was, in my opinion, pretty good. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Could have been a little better. I again didn't like that it ended in a 0-0 tie. But I mean Sean won in the end, which I liked.
Yeah.
And then you had Undertaker versus Diesel. That was not that bad, honestly. I thought it wasn't that bad.
Was that the Mania that happened?
Yeah, Taker versus Diesel.
now, now you see why I put it low.
Yeah, I mean I thought it was bad. And then
I
also,
no, I'm saying I put it low because I forgot that.
oh okay, I see. And then obviously yeah, Goldust versus Roddy Piper was funny and interesting, especially when they got to the arena and in the ring. Yikes!
Yeah.
I don't understand what was going on there, but you know what? Okay.
So Mania 34. Really, the only good matches in this Mania is the opener, the IC
Yep.
title match, and Ronda's debut.
Yeah.
Ronda Rousey's debut. That's the only good matches. And then you just got the worst booking decisions. Um,
Right.
Asuka's streak. So yeah, Mania 34. Um, no, it's like I said, the worst booking decisions. Asuka's winning streak ending. Um, Braun Strowman winning the tag titles with a child,
Yeah.
which, to be fair, was kind of funny. But
It was kind of funny.
um, what else happened? Oh, the main event.
Yeah.
When you have fans chanting "This is awful" and walking out of WrestleMania,
You know you did something wrong.
you know you did something wrong. The only reason it's in my top 25 is because of those two matches,
Yep.
the IC title and Ronda's debut. 24.
All right. My number 24 is WrestleMania 34.
Okay. My number 24 is WrestleMania 14, which that's the Tyson Mania.
Yeah.
Because it was Steve Austin and Sean.
Right.
Um, all right, go.
Right. So Mania 34, basically the same reasons you had.
We share a brain, ladies and gentlemen.
Pretty much. The main event was bad. Asuka losing was stupid. I think they only did that because they were in New Orleans, you know.
Yeah.
Streaks gotta be broken in New Orleans for some reason. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura was disappointing compared to their New Japan match. And then Nakamura turning heel was, I guess, at the time okay, but seeing where it led him wasn't very okay.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the opening pretty much carried the show and Ronda's debut.
Mhm. Mania 14. This was another one of the last ones that I put. Um, it was the Tyson Mania. That's all it was. Like that's I literally had to look up the card because
Mhm.
I could not remember anything else.
Right.
I still can't remember now. Even now, I can't remember anything that happened on this show.
That's the only match I remember too.
Exactly. So we're just gonna move on. Number 23. What do you
My
got?
number 20, my number 23 is Mania 14 for the exact same reason you had.
So my number
But
23, I see a lot of hate for, and I'm kind of surprised it hasn't shown up on your list.
yeah,
I see a lot of hate towards this mania. My number 23 is WrestleMania 25.
okay,
Oh no.
okay.
I think I know what's about to happen. But just quick WrestleMania 25. I think it's really overhated. It had a really good Money in the Bank match.
Hmm.
Obviously, Taker versus Michaels. The first time was amazing.
Yeah.
The Cena Big Show Edge triple threat was pretty good. The Divas Battle Royale sucked, and the main event sucked. But those were really the only two matches that sucked.
Right.
Now, Robbie, what's your number 22?
My number 22, shoot, is actually WrestleMania 33.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say 25.
No, 25 is actually much higher than
Oh
you
God,
put
we
it.
got we got very differing opinions on WrestleMania 33.
We do, I'm sure. We because you've spoken about it many times. So,
My number 22 is WrestleMania 22.
all
um,
right. So
no,
WrestleMania 33.
yeah, 33. Go.
So Roman Reigns versus Undertaker main eventing.
Mhm.
I'm okay with it. I was okay with it main eventing, but it wasn't a good match.
Yeah.
It was not a very good match. I mean, it was very sloppy. There were a bunch of botches, and they had us believe that Undertaker was going to retire after that. He didn't, but they had us believe he would. Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title was not that good. It was okay. It should have been for the Universal title, and I think the original plan was for it to be for the Universal title in the main event. But Vince pulled a Vince thing, and he said, "No, thank you." Uh, Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar was surprisingly better than expected, and then everything else was just kind of there.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember what else happened on the show. Six pack women's SmackDown title match. Okay, I guess. Fatal four way. Almost a four horsewoman fatal four way. Minus Becky Lynch
Yeah.
was not that good. And yeah,
22. Again, one of the last ones that I put, and I really
yeah,
only put it at 22 because it was made at 22.
yeah.
Henry versus Taker was good.
Mhm.
That's all I can remember. That's what was the main event for that one?
Cena versus Triple H.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't remember it. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mainly put it there because it was Mania 22 at number 22.
Okay.
All right,
Fair.
21. We're gonna try and get to 15.
All right. 21 is WrestleMania 37.
21 for me is WrestleMania 28.
Okay.
The once in a lifetime. So just quick
So
rundown on 37.
all right. So the main event of both nights, Bianca shot Sasha for the SmackDown Women's title, and then Roman versus Bryan versus Edge for the Universal title. Both honestly really good main events. I like them both. But outside of that, there wasn't that much on the show. I mean, it was, I guess, I think the first show that had fans
Yeah.
since COVID, and it was the first show to be delayed by lightning, which is kind of funny. It took that long, but that was funny. Getting to see Michael Cole and Samoa Joe in rain ponchos. That was very funny. I
Yeah.
don't know why. And then you freaking Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, part 597 was great. Seth Rollins getting his banger entrance theme that he has now. Love that. Cesaro winning at Mania. Great. Then everything else that happened.
So Mania 28,
Yeah.
once in a lifetime match. That match was good. No, that was a really good main event. I will give it that. The rest of the show.
Yeah.
Taker versus Triple H was great. Then you had Team Johnny versus Team Teddy. Sucked. You also had the opener, which was 18 seconds long.
Nice.
Daniel Bryan versus Sheamus. And then I legitimately can't remember anything else.
Yeah.
this mania was it wasn't bad, but it wasn't top 20 good.
Right.
Number 20.
Excuse me. My number 20 is a WrestleMania
My
6.
number 20 is WrestleMania 37. Hop into Mania 6.
All right, so I'm gonna be honest. I put it here because I remembered Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior and nothing else.
I'm sure that's when that Piper's Pit segment happened where um Piper had a fire extinguisher.
That was like Mania. I thought that was like Mania 20 something.
Oh, I could be wrong. I don't know.
I don't remember.
No, no, no,
And then you had freaking yeah, that's legitimately the only match I can remember. And I just kind of put it there because I needed something to put at number 20. So Mania 6 it is.
So WrestleMania 37, I have come out before, I don't think on the show, and said that this is the weirdest Mania in my opinion. Like
Yeah,
just looking at it on paper, this is an extremely weird WrestleMania. And I agree
yeah.
with you on most part. Um, the two main events were awesome,
Mhm.
especially night twos. But you also had Seth Rollins versus Cesaro, which fair be it was a pretty good match, but also why was it on Mania? You had the women's tag team turmoil match leading into night two with a women's tag team title match where
Uh,
Natalia and Tamina either walked in as the champions or won the titles. I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Um, you also had freaking. It was a weird mania.
It was
Kevin Owens versus
La
Sami Zayn, like you said.
Lashley versus
Lashley
McIntyre,
versus McIntyre, which ended with Lashley winning in the
which
opener of night one.
I was very surprised about that.
All right. We are gonna hop into part four for the last 19.
Yeah.
Um, so we will see y'all in part four. Oh wait, I was about to end the meeting. We will see y'all in part four.